Hi everyone, and welcome back to the TechNext series. Today we are focusing on the back of the body and into the spine. So as we know, spending a lot of time in our hunched over flexed position is not good for our body, particularly our neck and our shoulders. But it also affects the spine as well. So our spine is designed to move in all different directions, so we can flex, we can extend and laterally move from side to side. If we're stuck in one position all the time, whether that's that flex position or any other position, again, our back gets used to being in that position and it will adapt to make sure that we are as comfortable as we can be in that position. So that's why you tend to see that slight curve in the upper spine if we spend a lot of time hunched over. And obviously we don't want that. So we need to counterbalance that working day or, driving or whatever it is, with some Pilates moves, so we can make sure that our posture is corrected and our spine is aligned. I'm sure a lot of us have suffered with lower backache or upper backache. Just backache generally is a problem within society. So I'm going to take you through some moves that you can do at home or taking a break from your desk, so that you can take these through into your daily routine. So let's come and start seated. Extending the legs out in front of you, and we are on the sit bones, so we're sitting nice and tall. Spine is lengthened here. So we have two options. You can either take the arms out to the side, or if you have any shoulder issues, you can cross the hands in front of the chest. So I'm going to show you from this angle first. Our feet are together. We take an inhale. As we exhale, we rotate the upper body round. Feet stay where they are. This back hand, when my fingers are moving, we keep drawing that arm back to feel the squeeze between the shoulder blades. We then come back round to the center. Inhaling again. Exhale, round to the other side. Keep drawing the arms back, feel the squeeze between the shoulder blades. So I'm just going to change and show you from the front as well. So legs are nice and long, we're sitting tall, inhaling to prepare. We exhale and twist. We're just moving the upper body. You want to make sure that your feet stay where they are. If you feel one popping forward as you're twisting, it means that you're moving your hips. So we want to try and stay nice and tall. If it helps, squeeze the feet and the legs together. We come back through to the center. So if you have shoulder issues, you're here. Inhaling, exhale, and twist. Come back to the center. Lovely. Let's just take one more each side. Perfect. Coming into the center, we relax the arms down. Now I just want you to sit in a way that feels comfortable for you. So you might want to keep the legs extended, and you might be happy with the knees crossed. Just depends what feels comfortable for you. So we need to bring your left hand down onto the floor. We're going to reach the right arm up as we inhale. As we exhale, we're going to side bend over. So we feel the stretch down the side of the body. And I want you to keep the elbows nice and soft. So you can take a little bend in this elbow that's on the floor. And breathing through it for 3, 2, and 1. Come up to center, place the right hand down on the floor. Left arm reaches up on our inhale. And we side bend over on our exhale. Dropping the shoulders down. And breathe. Feeling that nice stretch down the side of the body. For 3, 2, And 1, come on up. Come up and over into your 4-point kneeling. Really good stretch for the back is your cat-cow. So we bring our hands under the shoulders, we've got knees under our hips, our spine is nice and long, we lift up through the belly and in through the sides of the waist. So we've got a nice strong stable base here. Taking your inhale, as we exhale, tuck the tailbone under, so you're pushing the hips towards your hands, we press down through the palms and round through the upper back, lifting the belly. On your next exhale, we're going to move through to cow. So we're going to move the tailbone first. Tailbone pushes away and up to the ceiling. We roll through the spine, shoulders back, and we take the eye gaze to the end of the mat. And again, through to our cat position, exhaling. Tuck the tailbone under, roll through the spine, lift through the upper back, eye gaze to thighs. So we feel the stretch in the upper back here. Exhale through to cow, tailbone pushes away, arching, dipping into the lower back, shoulders roll back, eye gaze to the end of the mat. Here we feel the stretch in the lower back, maybe across the front of the abdominals as well for a bit of an extra stretch. And let's move again. Tailbone always moves first, and we always move on the exhale. So just take these at your own pace, just using your breath pattern. And this is really good for the spine, getting that mobility, getting a bit of warmth. Would be really good to do when you get out of bed in the morning. And depending on where your ache or your discomfort is in your back, you might prefer to stay in one of these poses for a little bit longer than the other. So if you have particular problems with your lower back, you probably prefer to stay in this cow position. But for your upper back, you're probably going to prefer the cat. So completely up to you where you want to be. And we're making this our last one. So flowing through to your last pose. Lovely. Coming back through to neutral. So we've got a nice long spine again. We're going to take the knees wide. We're going to reach the arms forward and sit the hips back into our child's pose, which we've seen a lot during this technique series, but it's really good for the whole body, which is why we do it. And it just feels really nice. So again, the more of a stretch you want in the back, the more you reach the hands forward. One more breath. And then walk the hands in. We're going to come up and over and lie on our back. So the child's pose is really nice. You could do that any time of the day. It's quite nice before you go to bed, just to start calming the body down and relaxing the mind. So from here, we're going to take some pelvic tilts. Again, good stretch in the lower back here. So feet on the floor, knees are bent. I want you to bring your hands onto your pelvis. So the heel of your hand onto your hip bone, so the bony part of the hip, the fingers onto the pubic bone. So we create this little triangle shape on the pelvis. So at the moment, our hands are flat because our pelvis and our spine are in our neutral position. So we want to take them into imprint. We want to take the pelvis into imprint, so that we can take our pelvic tilt. So from here, I want you to think about pressing the lower back down into the floor. So as we press down, we engage the abdominals. And if you look at your hands, you'll see that they have now tilted towards you. And now if we take the pelvis back to a neutral position, where our hands are flat, We've got that little gap under the lower back. And depending on how tight your lower back is, you might already start to feel a bit of an ache there as you come back into that neutral position. So we take an inhale. As we exhale, press the lower back down. We're tilting the pelvis towards us, engaging through the abdominals. And then we release, feeling that stretch into the lower back. So taking it at your own pace, we tilt. Legs are relaxed here. We're engaging the abdominals to move the pelvis and back to neutral. So now we've got that, I want us to take the pelvis into imprint. So we press that lower back down. And then we're going to exaggerate in the other way. So when you bring your pelvis back to neutral, I want you to go a little bit further and exaggerate that arch under the lower back. Press down. Hopefully feeling that stretch into the lower back. But then move through to neutral, press lower back down into imprint. And then moving through, exaggerating the arch under the lower back. So when we do that exaggeration, the hands are tilting away from us now. So we go from neutral to imprint, to neutral, to the pelvis tilting away. So just flowing through that movement. Feel how that changes the feel of the lower back. And you might find that this is really beneficial for your lower back. So we're just going to take a few more of these. And then we're going to take this up into another move. So I now want you to bring your pelvis into your imprint position again. So our lower back presses down to the floor, our hands are tilting towards us. We have our legs which are nice and relaxed. And we want to keep it that way at the moment. So we're going to come up into some spine curls, or you might know them to be called hip bridges. Keep your legs and your glutes, so your bum, relaxed at the moment. Our abdominal muscles are switched on because we're tilting the pelvis back. I want you to keep using the abdominals to start to lift your hips up off of the floor and come up onto the shoulder girdle. When you get to the top, you can then squeeze the glutes, press down through the feet to engage the legs. You might prefer to bring the arms down by the side. So we're on the shoulder girdle. We can safely move our neck from side to side without any discomfort. If there is discomfort, you might just need to roll down a little bit more onto the shoulder blades. Lovely. Then we're going to roll down a vertebrae at a time. Starting from the top of the spine, last thing that touches down is our tailbone. We come back into neutral. Bring the hands back onto the hips anytime that you need to. So hands are flat at the moment. We take the pelvis into imprint. Hands tilt towards us. Legs relax. Keep using your abdominals. Roll up into your hip bridge. Ooh, squeezing the glutes at the top, engaging the legs, and we roll back down. So we want to make sure that our feet and our hips are, feet and our knees are hip width apart. Tilting back, we lift up. And as we get to the top of our hip bridge, we want to make sure that the knees stay at that hip distance, that they're not falling out or falling in. Taking it at your own pace. We're going to take 2 more. Squeezing when you get to the top, let the abdominals do the work on the way up. Last one. Rolling back down. And then I want you to hug the knees in towards the chest. Again, this is a really good stretch for your lower back. You might want to rock from side to side, just whatever feels right for you. We're going to take our left foot down onto the floor. Our right foot comes up and over the knee. And we're going to bring that knee away from the body. So we're taking what is called a hip and a glute stretch. This might be enough for you. If you can't really feel much of a stretch here, the left foot can lift off of the floor. If you want to control this a little bit more, take one hand to ankle and one hand to knee, and you can then draw the legs closer in towards the body. What I don't want you to do is take hold behind this leg and lift yourselves up. We then create loads of tension into the neck and into the shoulders, which we don't want in this next series. That's what we're trying to avoid. So by having the hands on the top leg, you can still think about relaxing the shoulders down and taking the tension away from the upper body. Now, I know this is called a hip and a glute stretch, and you'd probably be able to feel this down the outside of the leg and into the glutes or into the butt cheek. But this is all connected to the back. So if we stretch off the glutes and we stretch off the hips, that should in turn help to loosen off the lower back, because everything is connected. And you tend to find that people that have problems with their lower back, the issue isn't necessarily their lower back. It could be coming from the glutes or the hips or the hamstrings. So people that try to excessively stretch one area of the body because they think that's where the problem is coming from, that's not necessarily the right thing to do. And actually, just keeping the stretch and the mobility in all of those muscles should help to balance everything out. We're then going to bring the left foot down and we change sides. So right foot onto the floor, left foot comes up, and then choose your position. This might be okay for you. You might want to lift the right foot off of the floor, bringing hand to knee, hand to ankle on that left leg. Not unusual to have one side that's tighter than the other, and it might feel like more of an intense stretch. But just breathing through it. And we can start to balance out all of our muscles here. So breathe into the stretch. Lovely. Come and place the right foot down and the left foot down. I just want you to extend the legs away for a moment. We're then going to hug the right knee in towards the chest. Take left hand to right knee. Right arm comes out to the side. And then when you should draw the right knee over the left leg and over the body. So create this little reclining twist. Taking the arms out wide to a T shape. It might be that you can't get your knee completely on the floor. That is fine. But what I do want you to make sure is that both of your shoulders are on the floor. So if you feel the right shoulder is lifting, just reduce the range of movement a little bit. And this is really nice to stretch through the back, through the spine. Staying with the breath. Lovely. Coming up into the center, we extend the right leg, bring the left knee in. We take right hand to left knee, and then bring it over the body. Extending the arms nice and long. If you want to, you could take the eye gaze to the back hand. Just help to intensify the stretch a little bit. And again, might have one side where this feels tighter, more intense than the other. Might not be able to get the knee onto the floor. That's not a problem. Breathing into the stretch. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back up into the center. Oh, we're going to come up and over onto our front now. So come and lie on your belly. Feet are about hip distance apart, and I want you to come onto the forearms. So the forearms are just down by the side of the body in line with the shoulder. And we start by having the head on the floor. We take an inhale, and as we inhale, I want you to press your hip bones and your pubic bone down onto the floor and lift your belly towards your spine. As you exhale, we're going to press down through the forearms and lift the head and the chest. Take a little glute squeeze to protect the lower back. This is your Sphinx position. This is good for our back mobility, but you also might feel a bit of a stretch. We exhale to come down. Inhale to prepare. Press hip bones and pubic bone down, lift the belly. Exhale to lift. And then gently coming back down. So making sure we take that little glute squeeze as we come up to protect our tailbone and into the lower back. And again, you can do as many of these as feels comfortable for you. We're going to take 2 more. It might be that you can't come up very high, depending on your back mobility, but that's absolutely fine. Making this our last one. And then relaxing down. We're going to push back into our child's pose. So knees wide, arms long, bringing the head and the chest down. And just taking a few breaths here. Final 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently walk the hands in. And then just come and take a seat. And that is the end of the back session. So I hope you found that useful, that there's some moves in there that you feel like they create a bit of a release for you. And hopefully your back will feel a little bit more mobile and not as stiff at the end of that. And next we'll move on to the full session, if you want it, which will incorporate a class for you for the neck, shoulders, back. So you kind of incorporate everything that we've done throughout the series in one session, if you would like to do that at any point. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you for the full session. Thank you.